hagamos llegar toda esa fantástica energía de Madrid, de esta emoción, de este momento. El más grande aplauso para Jeff Roberti.
Only one word, Facebook. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes, okay. Thank you. If I could, one more time, if everybody could please stand up and turn to at least 2 or 3 people, everybody up, and get 2 or 3 Juice Plus hugs and kisses. 1, 2, 3, go. Hugs and kisses. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. By a round of applause, how many of you are having a great convention? Let me hear it. How many having a great? Awesome. We've had so many powerful, moving speakers so far, and I have the privilege and the honor of being able to wrap up the conference. Just out of show of hands, we can bring the lights up. How many of you have never heard me speak before? Show of hands. I thought I was more famous than this. Wow, look at this. Nobody knows me. Well, my name is Jeff Roberti. I'm from Sarasota, Florida. I've been with the company now. I started back in January of 1987. And it's been a dream. It's been a journey. It's been a dream come true. It's interesting. I was standing backstage with my good friend Jerry McKinney, and we were talking about, as you come up on stage, what does a person do? Does anybody have a fear of public speaking? Anybody? Show of hands, speaking in public. How many are not going to raise your hand no matter what I say? I've already got that established here. Well, one of the biggest fears in life is speaking in public, getting up in front of people. And one of the things that I do before I come up on stage is in the back of the room, I say, God, please flow through me. Get out of my head, get into my heart, please flow through me and give me the words to serve this room. And come from a place from your heart where there's that emotional sincerity, it's authentic, it's real, it's transparent, and people can relate to it. My goal, my outcome, is for people to go, if he can do it, I can do it. He's no better than me. If he can develop the skills and become more, to have more in life, there's a chance for me to do this. Because my story is I was an average person, but had an above average desire. Before I got involved, I was 24 years old living in Florida, and I was a 24-year-old ex-broke waiter. Has anyone ever waited tables or been a waiter or waitress? Has anyone ever been broke before? You understand this one? Well, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of being behind on my bills in life, my promises in life, to myself, to my friends, to my family, and I was very dissatisfied, was looking for some things to change. And I'll never forget, a friend of mine cared enough about me to share with me a product. And it was a different product back then, but I was a customer first. Like you heard so many of the stories of people that became a satisfied customer first. And as a satisfied customer and seeing merit and value in the product, I got invited to a meeting. And I went to that very first meeting and saw an opportunity to change my life, to be your own boss, to earn what you're worth, to have your own business. Instead of building someone else's dreams, come over here and build your dreams. And the very first conference that I went to, by a show of hands, how many of this is your first conference? First conference. Please stand up for your very first conference. Let's give them a huge hand. Everybody, it's their very first conference. Stand up. Let's let them acknowledge them. Look at that. Let's take this jacket off, get serious here. My very first conference that I went to, I did not have the money for the plane ticket. I did not have the money for the hotel. But all excuses in life are equal. I figured out a way to get myself to the conference. I put the one suit on that I owned, the one little skinny tie. I had long hair. I slept in my car. I worked out in the gym. I sat in the front row, and I took the notes. And I was moved emotionally. I remember getting in the car after the conference, Paulo, driving back to Florida from North Carolina, driving home, about a 10-hour drive. And after what I had not only what I had seen and I had heard, but what I felt at that conference, just like you've experienced here, I started crying on my way home, crying tears of joy, thanking God for answering my prayers. But this was my chance, a chance to become more, to have more, to grow and to serve and to do something that counts and to make a difference in the world. So my very first month in the business, what I was lacking in education or money or experience, I made up in desire. Someone that's just hungry and a really good work ethic, a willingness to work and being teachable. Matter of fact, my very first month in the business, my sponsor had been in it for almost 3 years. And he prejudged whether I was going to do anything or not and quit the business. My very first month, he quit and went to another company. Big mistake, by the way. Big, huge mistake. Somebody said, have you ever seen your sponsor? And I said, he was spotted about a year ago with a sign that says, kick me here, kick me right here. Not so funny over here. Oh. But what I'm saying is you never know who that next person is you're going to talk to. You've heard the success stories, the spectacular. The top 5% of our company share their stories. But what if you've been in it for a while and it hasn't happened for you? Maybe it hasn't happened as fast. So what I'm saying is you never know who that next person is you're going to talk to. So when I came into the business, I decided to tear up the list of excuses. I didn't look up line. I didn't look down line. I looked in the mirror. And I said, if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And Jeff, why don't you employ yourself? Employ you. Employ yourself. Set really high standards. Hold yourself accountable. Be the best distributor in your organization. Why not lead instead of pushing people? Distributors do not what you tell them to do, they do what you do. I'm a big believer in watch the feet, not the lips. Would you follow you? Would you follow you, your work ethic, your daily method of operation, your consistency of habits and work ethic and attitude? Are you the type of person that would inspire other people? I love what Paulo talks about, living the mission yourself first, getting on the product, becoming a product of the product. Same thing with our business. If you're going to step up and be a leader and be outstanding and lead people, then it starts with you. In the very beginning, I was willing to sacrifice some of the smaller things in life. I was willing to say no. Going to the beach, going out and partying with my friends. I said no to some of those things that really weren't that important so I could be in the position to say yes for the rest of my life. Things that were truly important. One of the things I want to share with you is this. Thank you. Thank you. You know, one of the things I want to share with you guys is the how part, how you do the business. You know, it's really, when you get down to it, it's 80% mindset, like the unstoppable movement, being part of a movement, having the right mindset, the right psychology, employing you. Look, our products work, our marketing system works. What's the only variable? It's the you part. How you feel about the products, how you feel about the opportunity, but most importantly, how do you feel about your own financial future? Believing in yourself. It's 20% mechanics. It really is a simple, duplicatable business. You know, one of the things that I teach is concepts are constant. The concepts, the basics, the fundamentals will never change. My job description, your job description, is to go out there and share the mission. Mission-driven, purpose-driven, get customers, build a growing customer base. You get customers, and from those customers, you retail to recruit. Your best distributors come from those customers. And then you start to build a team. You start to build relationships. The concepts, the basics, the fundamentals will never change. The techniques, the different ways you do the business have certainly changed over the years. When I started back in 1987, 29 years ago, we didn't have social media. We didn't have a mobile phone. We were excited. Anybody remember when they came out with a fax machine where you could fax a document? But today, some of the things I might have done then back then, the techniques, today the techniques and some of the tools you can use are amazing. I'll never forget, I called Paulo about a year ago. And he was over in Fort Lauderdale. Miami is his. He has a place in Florida. And it was his birthday. I called him up. I said, Paulo, happy birthday. He goes, Jeff Roberti. I said, hi, Paulo. How are you? He goes, Jeff Roberti, Italiano, Americano. How are you? I said, good, good. And I said, Paulo, how's your business? He goes, my business exploda. I said, exploda? He goes, one word, Facebook. I go where the people are, Facebook. Now it's Instagram, right? Snapchat. So, give him a big hand. What I'm saying is, there's an example of somebody that was stuck at 39 Club for 15, 20 years. Good life, but stuck. 39 Club. And then in 2 years' time, learns some new skills, becomes more valuable to the marketplace, understands the law of the universe is change. Either you're growing or you're dying. So he says, okay, let me embrace this. Some of the new technology. Brings on the twins. Brings on some leaders. And they start sharing their business through social media. They start becoming the attraction, the exposure. I've learned new language now. Posting, tagging, sharing, boosting, right? I didn't know these words, but now it's new language. So he learns this. And now, in just 2 years, goes from 39 Club to 600 Club. A good friend of mine I have here named Jeff came with me to the conference. He's been in the industry for a long time. And he said, because I was telling him about Juice Plus, what's going on, the movement, the excitement, solid company, bright future. He said, Juice Plus is not sexy anymore. It's old, it's an old company, not so sexy. Really? I said, why don't you come with me to Birmingham? Come with me to Madrid. 40 to 600 Club? That's pretty sexy, right? I mean, what's wrong with that? That's the type of growth that's going on in our business today. The examples of what's possible today. I'm an example of longevity. Somebody that started almost 30 years ago, went to work on themselves, put together a 3 to 5 year game plan in North America, and worked consistently, paying activities day in and day out, and built a business that pays residual income for 30 years. Did another 3 to 5 year plan over here in Europe. Residual income off of that first 10 years, 5 in North America, 5 in Europe. Now we're going into all of Latin and South America. We're going into Asia. We're going to expand around the world. My message to you today is this: the best is yet to come. It's your turn now. The best times are ahead of us, not behind us. You know, people say, you know, Jeff, what drove you in the beginning? What got you up early, kept you up late? What was your driving force when you came into this business? And I said, the how part is not that difficult. You can figure that out, how to do the business. But why do you do the business? The new people in the room, I want you to think about this. Why are you doing this? Reasons come first. You want to start, when you leave here, start peeling the layer of the onion and get down to why you're really doing this. What really is going to drive you, where you put in that extra 10% effort that'll give you 90% of the results. My attitude is, if a man pays me for 8 hours worth of work, I give him 10 hours worth of pay. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to step up and do it right. But why are you doing it? What drives you to do this business? You need to get a why that'll make you cry when you really get down to it. Something that's emotionally charged. Something that has a compelling future. Something that moves you emotionally. I had a lot of people say, Jeff, will you share your story of why you did the business in the beginning? A lot of people have been around, have heard it many times, but for new people, I shared this in Birmingham last week. And after the talk, I must have had hundreds of people come up to me and they said, Jeff, I've got my why. You had me crying. It moved me emotionally hearing that story. They could relate to it and come up with something that would be their why. So when I came into the beginning, came into the business in the very beginning, I told you I didn't come from a wealthy family. I'm the oldest of 3 boys. My father was a hard worker, but there was always more month than there was money. Struggling and juggling to pay the bills. And I didn't come from a wealthy family, and one of the things I remember as a kid was sitting in the back seat of my mother's car with my brother. And I remember sitting in the back seat of her car, and her car had some rust on it. It had a few dings on the car. My mom was a very proud woman, but I knew deep down inside she was in pain and it hurt because people would talk. And I used to say in the back seat of that car, if someday, if I could, I would. If I was in the position, if I could, I would like to help my mother and father. If I could, I would. I'd like to help my grandparents. If I could, I would. I'd like to be able to do this for my favorite charity. So after coming into this business and having a why that drove me to put in that extra, get up early, stay up late, put in that extra effort, after a few years of building this business and reinvesting back into the business and building proven people and proven systems, I was able to accomplish my original why. The first thing I bought was not for myself. The first thing I bought was not a car for me, not a home for me. It was a car for my mother. And thank you. And I found out if my mom could have any car of her dreams, what that car would be. I found out also that my mom had very good taste. She liked expensive cars. And I was able to take my earnings and be able to pay cash for this car. I was able to get the insurance paid. I was able to get her a gas card for the fuel. I was able to put all the options in it. I mean, was in the position to do it right. And she lives up in the mountains. I live down in Florida. And listen to this. On Christmas morning, I have the car sitting outside her home. She doesn't know it's outside. I've got a big red bow on the hood. I come up there for Christmas. The morning dew is on the car, the moisture, and the sun's coming up over the mountain, shining on this car, and it's gorgeous. Just beautiful. And without my mom knowing, I've got the car of her dreams sitting outside her home. She walks up to the front door. She opens the door. She sees me standing there, holding the keys. She sees the car. She sees me. I tell her how much I love her. And I see these tears of joy coming down my mother's face. And I thought I was the one that was giving. Thank you. I thought I was the one that was giving. I was the one that was receiving. The floodgates were open. And I want you to think about maybe that first little bottle of Juice Plus that you share with somebody over a period of time, being consistent with the pain activities. Maybe it could equal doing something like that. That's your why. I mean, how many mothers would like for your son to buy you a car, do something like that for you? I said that wrong. But to be in that position, to be able to do that. You know, it's funny, I had my mom at a conference in the United States. I guess it was, maybe 5-10 years after I had given her this car. And she was sitting in the front row, 4,000 people, 5,000 people. And I told this story. And she's in the front row. And I share the story, and after the conference is over, the lights are off, they're sweeping up, she grabs me outside and she goes, "You know, Jeffrey, I wish you wouldn't tell that story." She goes, "You make us sound like we were so poor." And she goes, "And by the way," that was a delayed reaction, I love it. And she goes, "And by the way, that car's now over 10 years old." And then the second part was, which was so funny, she goes, "And don't forget you only have one mother." I was like, "Well, I can't." You get a laugh here, you get a laugh. I love it. It's like an echo. And I said, "Thank God I can't afford two the way this is going." It's interesting. She, a few years after that, she wanted to remodel her kitchen, a kitchen remodel. I don't know, a new kitchen, the remodeling in her home. And I said, "Sure, Mom, I'm in the position. I'll get you the new kitchen." And I'm working and blowing and going out there on the road, and Gordon's back home running my finances, and I get a phone call, and he said, "By the way, your mom's kitchen's over $100,000 so far." No problem. Get another phone call. It's over 200,000. I get another phone call. It's 300,000. I get another phone call. It's over $500,000 for a kitchen. I pick up the phone. I call my mom. I said, "Mom, do you think maybe you're overbuilding for the neighborhood?" She goes, "Well, Jeffrey, She goes, Jeffrey, if you don't want to help me, I'll just take out a loan. You only have one mother, right? Another story that was a defining moment in my life, that moved me emotionally, that was a moment in time that made me say, okay, I'm going to step up and really take this serious. When my dad was 46 years old, I got a phone call in the middle of the night that he had died of a massive heart attack, and there was no second chance. It was the worst day of my life when I got this call. I felt so helpless. I'm in my early 20s. I get this phone call. That's it. And I thought to myself, it's not so much what happens in life, Jeff. It's not what happens in life. It's what you do with what happens in life. It's not the event. It's the meaning you give it. And I went through all the emotions. But I then finally said, what if I took my deepest pain in life, the most painful moment in my life, and turned my worst day into my best day because of what I took from that, the meaning I gave it, and who I became, and the growth that I would get as a person, and the capacity that I would now have to serve and help other people. And I took that event and I said, you know what, Jeff? Divorce your story, marry the truth, take this and use this as something for you to grow and become more and be able to go out there and make a difference in the world. Listen, I would give it all back, Paulo, the 90 million, all the success, to have gotten my own father on Juice Plus. If I could have got him on Juice Plus, because it just might have saved his life. Because when people get on Juice Plus, they start feeling better with the Juice Plus. They start eating. How many of you eat more fruits and vegetables now that you take Juice Plus? How many of you drink more water? How many of you thought about working out in the gym? It's a thought, right? Some of these things start to happen. It becomes a snowball effect as you start taking the product. So when you know what you know about Juice Plus, it's not an opportunity, it's a responsibility. How could I not share this product with someone? You know, so that's how I feel. I would share Juice Plus. How many of you would share Juice Plus with people whether you got paid or not? You feel that strongly about it? Absolutely. That's how I feel. So you just never know what kind of impact. Listen, as you start rising up in the club levels, as your income starts to grow, your check is a measuring stick of the amount of lives you've touched, with the impact, with the difference you've made in the world, not only with our product, but also with our opportunity. People say, you know, well, Jeff, why do you do the business today? What keeps you going? Why are you here? After this type of success, why are you still in the game? Why are you still playing at this level? What's your why today? Because it's got to evolve. Look, I can't just sit at home on the beach in my ivory tower, my Roberti sanctuary, as Mitra calls it, and be a selfish NMD. Life's not about me, life's about we. I'm here today for the new people that raise their hand. It's their very first conference. We're here today. I'm here today for you because thank you. I'm here today because you never forget where you came from. Somebody cared enough to share this with me. You know, I'm here today to pay it forward because it's your grand opening. It's your chance to realize your dreams. Instead of retiring from your business, you retire into your business. There's one thing to have, we had Zen speak earlier today about the happiness circle. It's one thing to have the success, but what about having fulfillment? You've got the success and the money and the position, but how about having something that's rich in meaning and purpose and fulfillment? Isn't our business rich in relationships? Isn't there a lot of love and connection in the room? Don't you see people growing? Growth equals happiness, the chance to contribute and make a difference, make an impact. The reason I'm still in the business today is to be part of a movement, to be part of something, to do something that counts, something where you can make a difference, something that is mission-driven, purpose-driven, cause-oriented, something that you can feel really proud about, rich in relationships and emotional and spiritual revenue. That's why I'm in it today. Thank you. Just a couple tips in closing here. Some of the things that I've always believed in the business, building your business on rock, not sand, building your business on a solid foundation, not just going fast, but building it solid, is the first step in anybody's Juice Plus career is the belief, believing in the product. Step one is you become a customer first. You believe in the products. It's not so much what you say, it's how you feel about what you say. People communicate with feelings more than words. Maybe it's on social media versus actually talking to somebody, but Facebook can turn into Facelook, right? You can still be able to have that emotional sincerity, truly believing and coming from your head, or not coming from your head, but coming from your heart when you're sharing it. Having that belief, it's hard to lead if you don't believe. So that's the first step, is believing in the product. The next step is when I go into a relationship, my focus is never on money or position for myself. The focus is always caring more about your customers, caring more about your distributors, and the success they have, more so than the income you're earning. In other words, 3 things I focus on. Number 1, putting their needs, not my needs, their needs ahead of my own. Number 2, adding value to their lives. Whatever that value is, an experience on the product, value in the business, whatever the value I can provide to them. And number 3 is to create raving fan relationships. Long-term relationships equal long-term success. So building that, going into a relationship to give, not to get, not measuring what you get in return. Truly going, I have this confidence and come from this position of strength, this voice of authority and that passion and that enthusiasm. But the other thing you have is a servant's heart. You come from a servant's heart where you truly are out there to serve other people. And with that, your business explode, right? It'll grow beyond your wildest dreams. I heard Paulo and the group up here talk about, some of the tough times and how do you get past some of the tough times. A tip I'll give you there, how do you discipline your disappointments? Because it's not always going up. We all have ups and downs. It's always an emotional roller coaster. Things can be going great. It's easy to look good when things are going well, but what happens when you stub your toe? What happens when somebody tells you no or something's not going the way you like it? What happens if somebody falls out of your business? For me, I've always kept a very positive mental attitude and always stayed in the position where I just kept moving forward. In other words, a great word, if somebody's negative, whether it's a family member or a neighbor or a coworker, if they're negative and they're saying, oh, your product's no good, your opportunity's no good, you're no good, a great word to have in your vocabulary is this word, next. It's okay, right? It's okay, next. Next. I am not in the convincing business. I'm not here to convince them. I am the messenger, not the message. My job description is to tell the story, to talk to people. If they don't get it, they don't see it, then I keep moving forward. There's a thing called safety in numbers. And from that, you have what's called the law of averages. I made the same mistake, guys. I said too much to too few. I was focused on the ones I couldn't get to join versus talking to more people. Or today, posting to more people. Or whatever it is, whatever tool you're using to get the story out there, the concept of sharing a product and an opportunity, a mission. So say less to more. Don't focus on the ones you can't sell. Focus on all the ones you can't see. Another one is this. How many of you have people in your business that you feel like you're always pushing them and they want it more than you want it more for them than they want it for themselves? Anybody have any of those? Is it just me? Where you have people in your group where you're pushing? It's easier to give birth than raise the dead. Not funny. It's easier to go get somebody new, right? To get somebody new than keep pushing people. So what I'm saying is, you just got to keep moving forward. In closing, I'll say this. There's so much more I can cover, but I see that lights are flashing. I guess in closing, how many of you took really good notes over the last 2 days? Anybody take some really good notes? Have a journal? I'm a big believer that if you spent your time and money to be here, and you took the notes and you took it all in, you not only want to apply it into your business and you do it, but I always take notes as if I'm going to teach it to someone, as if I'm going to pay it forward. That I'm taking notes that I'm going to change someone else's life. I apply it, but the fastest path to mastery is to not only apply it, but to teach it, to pay it forward. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. You know, if you don't start applying this in the next 24, 48 hours, it's just like sitting on the shelf, right? So you want to get that, apply it immediately. And then what I will say in closing is this. It's a call to action. It's the marching orders. It seize the moment. It's a moment in time. The right products, the right company, the right leadership, the right timing, all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together for you. One excuse you don't have is to say, I've never been at the right place at the right time. But just because you're at the right place at the right time doesn't mean you get the prize. You've got to go to work. You've got to step up. You've got to hold yourself accountable. You be the best distributor in your organization. I worked my business in the beginning with a sense of urgency and a fear of loss. Like every day today I miss, a year from now I'm going to have to work 5 days to equal one of these days. Had that urgency, that fear of loss, getting focused on the paying activities, that consistency of discipline, doing something consistently over and over again. Listen, Paulo will tell you this. You don't have to do 1,000 things. Well, you have to do a handful of things 1,000 times over. A few simple disciplines done consistently over and over again equal multiple rewards. It's the basics, back to the fundamentals. And here's what I'll say. You can compress an entire lifetime worth of work, an entire lifetime of work in what you do in the next 3 to 5 years. If you get focused and you really step up the next 3 to 5 years, because the biggest growth we've experienced in our 45-year history is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. You heard Dan on stage, 2020 in Dubai, how many new marketing directors, where we're going to become a $1 billion a year company. The best years are ahead of us, not behind us. So it's a chance for you. Thank you. Thank you. So the things that I would do in closing is this. Number one, you want to decide what you really want. What do you really want? You know, it needs to be results focused. What do you want? But more importantly, it's got to be purpose driven. Why do you want it? You know, be specific. You know, what do you want, but why do you want it? And then put together your massive action plan. Put together your map of what you're going to do. Take all out massive action. And I guess if I'll say this, if you've been searching in life, like I was searching, I was praying, I was looking for something for this average person with an above average desire to be able to go out and do something in life, be able to earn an above average income, and to grow as a person and be able to have more and give more. If you've been searching in life, welcome to the Juice Plus family. Welcome to the company with the heart. You have found a home. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.